From stressed to successful, moms who changed their lives with business. The coffee had gone cold again, another morning balancing the noise of the house and the quiet question she kept avoiding. Can I really build something of my own? She stared at the screen while her daughter colored at her feet, wondering if wanting more made her selfish. She wasn't chasing millions, just freedom. The kind that fits between nap times and school pickups. The kind that doesn't require permission slips or explanations to anyone but herself. But every time she opened her laptop, the doubt crept in louder than her ambition. Part of her still felt guilty for wanting more, as if ambition had to disappear when motherhood began. Society whispers that you can't have both, that choosing yourself means choosing against your children. She'd heard it in passing comments, seen it in the eyes of other mothers at the park. But the idea didn't come from a business book. It came from the mess on her kitchen table, a pile of handmade birthday invitations she'd created for her son's party. Friends kept asking where she bought them. One even offered to pay her to make a set. That's when something shifted. She remembered the woman she used to be, the one who solved problems at work, who felt capable and seen. Motherhood hadn't erased that person. It had just buried her under laundry and lunchboxes. What if she could find her again, but on her own terms this time? The first week, she stayed up past midnight researching how to start an Etsy shop, what print-on-demand meant, whether she needed a business license or could start small and simple. The information overwhelmed her. Every article assumed she had time, money, and confidence she didn't possess. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than failure. Who are you to think you can do this? You haven't worked in years. You don't know anything about business. You'll embarrass yourself. She almost closed the laptop for good. But one morning, scrolling through her phone while nursing her baby, she found a community of mothers doing exactly what she dreamed of. Women selling printables, teaching online courses, offering virtual assistant services, all from home, all on their own schedules. They weren't superheroes. They were just women who decided to start. What would you have done in her place? Given up on the whisper of possibility, or taken one small step forward despite the fear? She chose the step, not a leap, a step. She opened a free Canva account and designed her first digital party invitation template. It took her 3 days, working in 15-minute bursts between diaper changes and dinner prep. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. According to recent studies, small home-based businesses led by women are growing 40% faster than other segments, proof that clarity often beats capital. These mothers aren't waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. They're building in the margins of their lives, one small decision at a time. She listed her first product for $9. Then she waited. Hours turned into days. She checked her phone obsessively, feeling foolish for hoping. Her husband asked if she was okay. She lied and said she was fine. On day 4, a notification appeared. Someone in Australia had purchased her invitation template. $9 minus fees equaled $7.32. She stared at that number like it was a million. Because it wasn't about the money, it was about the proof. Proof that she could create something people valued. She smiled. Not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. But success didn't flood in overnight. The second sale took 2 weeks, then a third. She started studying what worked, which designs caught attention, which keywords brought traffic, how other sellers presented their products. She learned about SEO without taking a single course, just by paying attention and testing. The learning curve felt steep from the outside, but she discovered something surprising. Business skills aren't mysterious. They're just patterns you learn to recognize. Marketing is telling a story. Customer service is empathy. Pricing is confidence. All things mothers already practice every single day. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress. It looks like staying. Staying consistent when no one's watching. Staying curious when results feel slow. Staying committed to the version of yourself that believes you deserve more than exhaustion and invisible labor. 3 months in, she hit her first $100 week. She cried in the shower where no one could hear, not because of the money, though it helped, but because she'd proven something to the woman in the mirror, the one who'd forgotten she was capable of building, creating, and succeeding. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her. That's what the old story said. But she was writing a new one now, one template at a time. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. She'd added a simple organizer for her supplies and claimed 2 hours each afternoon as her office hours, while her youngest napped. Boundaries she'd never given herself before. Other mothers started reaching out. How did you start? What platform do you use? Can someone like me really do this? She realized her story wasn't just her own anymore. It was permission for others to try. She almost gave up, until one message changed everything. A woman from her community wrote, "I bought your invitations for my daughter's birthday. They were beautiful. But more than that, seeing your shop made me believe I could start mine. So I did. Thank you for going first." That's when she understood the real transformation. This wasn't about escaping motherhood or proving anything to anyone else. It was about integration, bringing all the parts of herself into one coherent life. The mother, the creator, the earner, the dreamer. She didn't have to choose anymore. What part of her story resonates with you most? The fear at the beginning? The tiny first step? The moment it all clicked? The business models other mothers were choosing fascinated her. Some sold digital products like she did, printables, planners, educational resources. Others offered services, social media management, bookkeeping, content writing. A few created physical products, handmade jewelry, children's clothing, natural skincare. One mother she connected with had built a thriving business teaching busy parents how to meal prep efficiently. Another turned her love of organizing into a virtual consulting service. A third started a subscription box for toddler activities. The diversity proved there was no single right path. What they all shared was this: they started with what they already knew, what they already loved, or what they'd already solved in their own lives. Business wasn't some foreign language they had to learn from scratch. It was an extension of skills they'd been developing all along. The guilt never fully disappeared, but its voice grew quieter. She learned to recognize it as the sound of old programming, not truth. Wanting financial independence didn't make her a bad mother. Building something of her own didn't steal from her children. In fact, they were watching her model resilience, creativity, and self-worth. Her daughter started playing entrepreneur during pretend time. She'd set up a little shop with her toys and practice making sales. Her son told his teacher that his mom had a business. The pride in his voice made her throat tight. They were learning that mothers could be more than one thing. Then came the doubt again, because doubt never leaves permanently, it just visits less often. A month with slower sales, a negative review that stung more than it should have. Comparison scrolling that left her feeling behind and inadequate. What helped her push through wasn't toxic positivity or forced gratitude. It was connection. She reached out to her community of mother entrepreneurs and found they all experienced the same cycles. The doubt was part of the process, not evidence of failure. What helped me the most wasn't just Canva Pro. It was realizing that I didn't need permission to start small. I tested a few tools before finding what truly worked, and honestly, it changed everything. This isn't a promotion, just something that made my path a little lighter. I'll leave the link below if you want to explore it. The investment in better tools came gradually. First, the premium design platform that gave her access to more templates and features. Then, a simple tripod and ring light for taking better product photos. Later, an online course about digital marketing that filled in gaps in her knowledge. Each purchase felt scary and necessary at once, but she never scaled faster than she could afford, financially or emotionally. This wasn't about get-rich-quick schemes or overnight transformation. It was about sustainable growth that honored her capacity as a mother with real responsibilities and real limitations. By month 6, her income covered groceries and helped with bills. By month 9, she'd matched what she used to make part-time before staying home. By the end of the first year, she'd created something stable, not flashy, not Instagram-worthy, but real and hers. The transformation wasn't in the numbers, though those mattered. It was in how she carried herself, how she spoke about her days, how she made decisions about her time. She'd reclaimed a sense of agency she didn't realize she'd lost. Her relationship with her partner shifted too. Money conversations felt different when she contributed financially again. Not because her previous work as a full-time parent wasn't valuable, it absolutely was, but because the economic recognition changed the power dynamics in subtle, important ways. She found herself saying no to things that didn't serve her anymore. The volunteer commitments she'd accepted out of guilt, the playdates that drained her energy, the expectation that she should be available to everyone, always. Business gave her a language for boundaries she'd struggled to set before. Sometimes she missed the simplicity of not having anything to manage beyond the household. Building a business added complexity to already complex days. But when she weighed the stress against the fulfillment, the equation balanced in favor of growth. Other times she felt like she was failing at everything simultaneously. The house messier than before, less patience with her kids, meals simpler and less inspired. She had to keep reminding herself that this was a season, not forever, and that having it all was a myth designed to make women feel inadequate. What would you have done in her place? Pushed through the hard days? Scaled back? Found a different balance entirely? She learned to protect her energy fiercely. Not every customer deserved immediate response. Not every opportunity was worth pursuing. Not every criticism required internalization. Business taught her discernment in ways motherhood alone hadn't. The community she'd found online became her lifeline. Women who understood the unique challenge of building something while raising humans, who celebrated small wins and normalized setbacks, who shared resources freely and lifted each other without competition or jealousy. They reminded each other that motherhood and entrepreneurship shared similar skills: multitasking, problem-solving, emotional regulation, long-term thinking, and the ability to function on less than ideal conditions. The transition wasn't as dramatic as it seemed from the outside. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot, because this time she wasn't rushing. She was building. Building a business, yes, but also building a life where she didn't have to choose between being a mother and being a whole person with ambitions beyond the home. The kitchen table where her journey began still held the remnants of daily life: coloring books, snack crumbs, permission slips. But now it also held her laptop, her planning notebook, and the quiet confidence of someone who bet on herself and won. She wasn't special. She didn't have secret advantages or hidden talents. She was just a mother who refused to believe that her story ended when her children's began. And in that refusal, she found something more valuable than money. She found herself again. This content is educational and inspirational in nature, not financial or business advice. Every journey is different, every timeline unique, and success looks different for everyone. What matters most is the decision to begin, even when the path isn't clear. Tell us what part of her story resonated with you most and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video. Bye.